All right, today we have a special guest, jack of all trades, Cam Echols-Luper.
How
Cam
y'all
spent his
doing? How y'all
college
doing?
days as a two-sport athlete, running track and contributing in just about every way possible on a football field, before moving on to spend time in the NFL, CFL, Spring League, and now is hoping to land with the USFL. How you doing today, Cam? Thanks for joining me.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me. How y'all doing out there, man? I really appreciate you taking your time out today, man, and you know, ask me some questions, let me come on here, give a little spiel about what's been going on about my life. I really appreciate it, my man.
Oh, dude, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on and actually speaking to me. I was amazed at how open to you were. Honestly, like
My
you just
man.
were about it. It was cool.
Yeah, anytime, my man. Anytime, my man. It's honestly been a quite some time, a little minute since I did an interview, so I was kind of excited to do another one, and you know it was real cool how you approached with everything. So I said, man, why not? And it was just kind of just like a little perfect time. I'm waiting for this little supplemental draft. So, why not? Just get a little interview out there and just get a little, little story time together.
Exactly. Well, I really appreciate it, man. Like I said, I was quite shocked to not see you drafted the first draft, and I don't understand it. Like the way the USFL is built. I mean, they've got really small rosters. A guy like you is so incredibly valuable in a league like that. It's insane. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I feel like you and I both agree on that topic there. But I can't sit here and just harp on it too much, man. I just gotta, once I found that I wasn't being drafted after the 7 rounds of the receivers went away. And I went right back to work, hit the field, hit the weight room, and I kind of just, you know, I, I dwelled on it for a couple of days. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Yeah, it got to me for a couple of days, but um, man, once Monday came back around, I had to really just shake it off and get back to work and get back on the phone with my agent and just make a couple more calls just to see if what the process was and really just what was everybody saying really, and that was just the hardest part is because the USFL is completely different than the CFL, the NFL. So I got a lot of you'll get a lot of buzz, a lot of feedback before like the NFL draft or like before the CFL draft or anything like that. And man, honestly, they were being very quiet and hush mode about this USFL. So it was extremely hard to get feedback and let alone just to know if you were 100% were going to get drafted. And, like a lot of guys like myself, we heard a lot of things, upcoming to the draft the night before, the day of. But man, it's just one of those things where it's just like, when your number is called, your number gets called. And, at that time I didn't get called. So, I had to go back to the drawing board, just keep praying and hoping that, my time is in the supplemental draft.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I would guess with all the adversity you've been through your career, this is just another stepping stone.
Yeah, it's just another stepping stone. It's a little bigger stepping stone this time because of just how the magnitude of, the USFL is, and the magnitude of my timeline is. It's just, man, I would really love the opportunity to play in the USFL. I played in the spring league twice on the Brian Woods, and I can honestly sit here and say that Brian Woods has everything together when it comes to the USFL because the spring league was intact. It was organized. Um, it was just a great time, especially that they call them the spring league or developmental league. Man, it was just a great time with a great group of guys who didn't get to play, in a couple of years or haven't got to play. Period. So just to go out there and showcase our skills and have this opportunity for the USFL, man, it's just it's a breath of fresh air and it's also it's a blessing, but it's one of those blessings where it's like we have no control over it. So it's just it's a waiting game.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I wanted to go ahead and get into your background. Like we spoke off screen, you started playing football at a very young age. When exactly did you start playing football, and how'd you get involved with it?
Well, I first started playing in I think it was first grade or like kindergarten, but I quit real soon because I was playing flag football and one flag football was nothing. It seemed nothing like what I watched every Saturday going to my stepdad's games, and and nobody had helmets on, nobody had pads on. When I didn't hear no pads popping, so it didn't feel like the same football. And honestly, and I didn't like how the coach was yelling, at me because it was flag football. We're out here basically playing two-hand touch, and you yelling at us like we supposed to be tackling people. And so, I was a young buck, man, maybe 6, maybe 5, and I did not like that at all. So mom made me pick up the call. Mom made me pick up the phone and make the call to my coach, who was actually at work at the time. And so I had to call, his job, ask for, the coach. And he finally came to the phone, and I just had to sit there and tell him like, man, I would not be coming to practice tomorrow because I don't like how you was yelling at me. And so, and so it was, it took about 2, 3 years until my mom, got the courage up to let me play again. And most people know this about me, but most don't. I didn't receive my mom's blessing to play until third grade because my uncle was paralyzed in a state semifinal game here in Cowboy Stadium before it was AT&T Stadium when it was in Irving. And basically, man, my uncle hit a guy so hard to where he paralyzed his own right arm, and he lost 85% of his nerves and muscles at the time. And yeah, man, from that time on, we made a pact that, if he was never able to finish his career or play again, that I'll finish it, and I'll take the lead and, do everything that he couldn't. And, that's kind of why I took it from there. And, man, when I finally hit third grade, we were going to the park one day. It was me and my siblings, and we just going to a random park when we lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I guess it was a football team that practicing on the field. And I just, I kind of looked at my mom, and I was kind of just like, can I go over there and play with them? And little did I know, I didn't know that they were practicing for like an actual, like team or anything. But she kind of walked me over there, and she started talking to the head coach. And next thing I know, a couple of days later, I'm suited up, helmet and shoulder pads, ready to practice, picking my number out. And so, man, the story just it goes on from there, man. And I really thank my mom for taking the time out and actually allowing my body and my brain and all that to develop because a lot of us start at first grade pre-K and so we just hitting heads and
Yeah.
my mom took the time to although we had a traumatic experience in our family, she took the time to let me develop somewhat to where I still don't have my little baby bones or my baby teeth or nothing like that to where it wouldn't be fragile enough to when somebody hit me. So I do appreciate her for that, and also it gave me the time to really develop the love and passion that I have for the game. Just watching, being around my uncle who was hurt for a couple of years, going through up team surgeries. Man, it really taught me the true love and passion I have for this game.
Absolutely. I had not found that anywhere in my research, to be honest. I did not know that story was coming at all. That was, man, I can't believe you had experienced that and you still had the desire to play the sport, man. That's
Man,
that in itself.
100%.
That's insane. When you first began playing organized football, did you play all over the field like you do now, or were you pretty much at one
Uh,
specific position?
I did actually. I played a lot of running back. I played a lot of quarterback, a lot of safety, a lot of linebacker. And I do specifically remember one game. Coach put me and like the other three like very fast, skilled guys at defensive line, just because so we could sorely just get past the center and the offensive line fast as possible, man. And I'm not gonna lie, it worked. But after that game, I'm pretty sure my mom, specifically told him don't put my son back on the defensive line. He's too small, he's not big enough. But it worked for the time being, man. But growing up, man, I just love playing offense. I love having the ball in my hands. And, although, my uncle, he played corner, he was a 6'2" corner who could hit. And man, just I never liked hitting people. Like it just it hurt.
Yeah.
Hitting people hurt. And it felt better to, what I'm saying, to make somebody miss or to run you over or what I'm saying, to just being the hammer and not the nail is a different mentality. And I don't think I was I'm definitely not my uncle. I wasn't, I definitely didn't want to hit nobody every play. And so, just be having the ball in my hands and being in control of, I think my first time starting at quarterback was maybe fourth or fifth grade. And man, I can't lie, I absolutely loved it. Just being in control of the whole organization of the play. Being in control of the game, the outcome, the score. Being a quarterback, you're in control of everything. And being in fourth or fifth grade, I wasn't really just understanding of that. But as I grew older and started to learn more, man, I was just like, man, the quarterback is the president. The quarterback is the CEO. He's the guy who controls everything on the field. There's a quarterback on the defense, there's a quarterback on special teams, a quarterback on offense. But if I'm the quarterback on offense, I control this entire segment. Just because the safety or linebacker controls the defense, if you really think about it, I really control you too. You know, because you're looking at me to decide what I'm going to do, and I'm watching you, telling you, showing you what I'm about to do. Decipher that I'm about to do something else as well. But man, just being a son of a collegiate coach, man, and being around hundreds and thousands of tremendous athletes, tremendous NFL caliber players. I was just blessed with the ability to play everywhere, and God didn't bless me with the 6'5", 6'6" height, but He blessed me with the heart of a lion, and I'm not scared of nobody on the field. So you can put me wherever, and I'm gonna get it done. So just being around, just the guys I've been around my whole life, it just develops me into a pure athlete. And whether I was playing quarterback or receiver, I'm gonna get it done.
Absolutely. So I wanted to put a comment up on the screen. Cord jumped in and said you're the GOAT. So
appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that.
So clearly, to have all these different roles on a football field, you must have been a very self-motivated person to push yourself to these heights. Who or what inspires you? Is it your uncle? Is it your father?
A lot of people do know as well, but my stepfather is my true father figure. He raised me my whole life. And that's Coach Luke. That's my stepdad. That's who, my mom married when I was 5 years old. And man, and no knock, no harm to my real father, just different times, different circumstances, and blessed to have two guys in my life who I can call dad and I can call my father. But man, just I may need you to re-ask that question again.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I'm sorry, I may need you re-ask that question again.
Who or what inspires you to approach the sport with such dedication and tenacity?
Man, I'd honestly could sit here and say three people, honestly. Number one is my uncle. First and foremost, sorry to everybody else, but I have a tattoo on me, and it's tatted on me. Everything I do is for you, and then that's 100% true. And the tattoo is of a hand coming down from the clouds. He handed me a football, and basically that signifies, the first person to ever put the game in my life, and it was my uncle. Because I'm from Ennis, Texas, and if you know anything about Ennis, man, it's polka and it's football. You know what I'm saying? It's either you're a really good polka dancer or you're a great football player, man. And just being from Ennis, everybody knows who Dante Echols is. And just growing up in the backyard with him playing, throw him up, bust him up every day. He taught me how, just the importance of the love and the importance of, man, if you're gonna be good at something, you got to work at this every day. And man, just going to every practice. When I say I was at every practice, I was at every film study, every class, every lunch, every dinner, every walkthrough, every event Ennis High had from 1998 to 2000. I was attended at. You can basically call me their little mascot, their little water boy, whatever. I was there. And so, and the second person is my beautiful mother, of course. At a period of time, she was a single mom. So, I had to watch her, go to work from 6 a.m., come home at 9, 10 at night, pick me up from my uncle's house or pick me up from my grandparents' house, 30 minutes, 45 minutes away from the house just to drive an extra 45 minutes home, man. A lot of people who, who are going to watch this or, are watching this can relate to, growing up in a single mom household. And, couldn't be more thankful and blessed that she found somebody who, she could sit down with and, and marry. And, that's my stepdad. And man, just having my mom there every day, man, and pushing me and not giving up on me and always reminding me that, you are my son, you are your uncle's nephew, and you will be great and you will, be successful every day. That, it just embedded into my head that, man, one day, whenever it's my time or whatever it is that I do, I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna quit. And like Corey said, I'm gonna be the best at whatever I do. You know what I'm saying? If you beat me one day, I promise you I'm gonna knock on your door that next day and I'm gonna want to race again, or I'm gonna want to fight again, or I'm gonna want to play again. I'm not gonna win, or I'm not gonna be satisfied until I win. and that's one thing that she instilled in me. And man, the third person is definitely, they're two people, but they're one. It's my Papa Edwin and my Grandma Lucy. And man, really, I can sit here and say it's my grandparents in a whole, because without my mom, without any, my uncles and my aunts, my grandparents raised me. And so without my grandparents there, man, there honestly truly would not be no Cameron. None whatsoever. My Grandma Lucy, she taught me you know, the life lessons of work now, play later. And a lot of people don't understand, man. You gotta put some work in to play later, you know what I'm saying? And get all your work done now, do all your household chores, all your homework, this, that, and the third, or what I'm saying, whether it was just helping her in the yard, or what I'm saying, pick weeds or fold the laundry. Man, I had to do all that before I could go outside and play. And just imagine a 6, 7 year old having to do chores, and you saying like, man, I want to go outside and play with my friends. I see them riding the bike. I see them, playing catch, or going fishing, or picking the roly poly olies out the ground. Man, that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to, pick no weeds, or what I'm saying, fold laundry or wash dishes, but I had no choice. I had to learn how to work hard and play later, man. And that kind of instilled in me now. And in my, what I'm saying, I can't thank my papa enough, because he's one of the strongest, mentally strongest, hardworking individuals I've ever met. And I say that because like now he's my grandma's caretaker. She has Alzheimer's, man, and it's just it's a rough period. It's a rough time for all of us. But at the same time, man, my papa just he teaches me so much on a daily basis, man. And what I'm saying, he's the most solid individual I've ever met. I've never met somebody who's just every second, every day, it's everything that he's gonna do is gonna be the right thing. Whether you think of it or not, it's the right thing. And he's always putting a smile on my face, always putting a smile on everybody's faces around you, man. And it's just, I can't thank them enough for, being the people that they were in my life, and, instilling all the life lessons and all, the great things that they instilled in me, man. I couldn't, to these four people, man, I truly appreciate y'all, more than anything.
That's awesome. Not gonna lie, I relate quite highly to that. I'm a stepfather myself, and my wife was a single mother prior to me coming around, and I'm trying to raise my stepson the right way and my son the right way. And hearing the way you're raised is fairly similar to the way we're trying to raise them. And I'm just, it's an inspiration to see that you've gotten as far as you have, and I'm glad I'm hopefully on the right path as well with them.
Man, I appreciate that, man. I'm pretty sure, man. I'm pretty sure you're doing a great job, man. I'm pretty sure them boys love you to death, bro.
I appreciate that.
No doubt.
On another note, we're going to talk about your father. Curtis Luper is a well-known college coach, as you mentioned before. How do you believe he helped your development as a player in terms of your football IQ and playing every position on the field?
Man, the easiest way to say this, man, I am Albert Einstein on the field. Just imagine, man, having a dad as a collegiate coach. I got to be around Michael Dyer, Ontario McCaleb, Trey Mason, Cam Newton. I can go on for days. You know what I'm saying? Dwight O'Connor, so I can go on. You know what I'm saying? Uncle Thurman Thomas, who he played with at Oklahoma State. Uncle Barry, you know what I'm saying? Coach Gundy, Hartley Dykes, Melvin Gilliam. Like, man, when I say I can go on for days, I can go on for days. Russell Okung, for tremendous first round NFL caliber guys who my dad's either recruited, coached, played with. They've been in our house. CJ Mosley, I remember he was being recruited out of Alabama. He went to Alabama to play linebacker. Man, he came and ate dinner at our house one day, and I was just like, there's guys in our house that I never would have thought of being in our house, just eating lunch, eating dinner. Or the day that Cam Newton came into our house, man, I asked my dad, does he play DN? And he said, no, that's a quarterback. That's 6'7", 270-pound quarterback. Golly, man. And you know what I'm saying? It's just, not only did I get to meet a great, tremendous, great amount of guys, man, they put a lot of work, a lot of, you know what I'm saying, a lot of the things that's in me now, they instilled that in me, just being around them, working out, and, what I'm saying, being in the film room with them, hearing the game, what I'm saying, in front of them in the locker room, and just being around them at the house, man, being a coach's son was probably, I have a love-hate relationship with being a coach's son, man, and this is part of the conversation where, man, this is the best part of being a coach's son I can honestly, say is being around a group of guys that I was around, man, and being around the, what I'm saying, the camaraderie, and being the fact that my dad taught me everything it is to know about football, every coverage, what I'm saying, being a quarterback, I saw everything happen before it happened. So, You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people really don't know this, and they really in high school I did not watch film. I was at my coach's desk like this. Next play, next play, next play. Because I honestly it was because I watched so much film at Auburn University that watching film in high school was kind of just like watching highlights.
Yeah,
You know, because
see that.
we ran the same offense as Auburn University, so it was like, okay, I know I know Smith Station defense or Central's defense or whoever enterprise defense we were playing at the time is not playing the defense that South Carolina or Alabama or Tennessee or Kentucky is not playing. So I don't got to worry about this hang coverage or this defender or this alley defender or this DN dropping to this coverage. I don't have to worry about none of that because I'm not going to see it. So my reads are 10 times simpler, man. And just like being a coach's son, I grew up with another coach's son who his dad and my dad coached together and we played together. I want to say all the way from middle school up to college. Actually, his name is Blaze Taylor, and man, and he's the epitome of a coach's son, man. And I love Blaze to death. Blaze is my little brother, man. And me and Blaze are completely two different people, but the one thing we have in common, man, is we are geniuses when it comes to football. And now Blaze is a complete genius himself. I want to say he has 2 to 3 degrees before he even finished college. Yeah, man,
Wow.
my man is yeah, he's a genius, honestly. And so man, that showed on the field, and just being, growing up with him, man, and just seeing how smart he was as an eighth grader when I was in ninth grade, or seeing him as a freshman, I was a sophomore, and he played on varsity with me while I was at Auburn High, and man, you could tell just the level of intelligence we had on the field when we were with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like we would look at each other and sit there and go, so we would give each other fake signals, knowing that we had a completely different play. But that came from us, you know what I'm saying, going out to Auburn University, throwing with each other, working every day, working with Cam Newton, him teaching us, you know what I'm saying? Yes, we running the same plays, but you can give, so you can give Blaze a signal for a different play. That means absolutely nothing, but the defense thinks another play is coming, man. And, that's just what we learned from being a coach's son and being around a Heisman Trophy caliber player like Cam Newton, man. And, you know what I'm saying? And just learning different aspects and being around our dad, man, and Coach Chiz and Coach Malzahn, man, and we just learned so much from being around our dad. And I know I did, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I call myself a football genius when I'm on the field.
Well, if you're giving dummy signals on the field, I mean, that's like Peyton Manning level stuff there.
A
So, I mean, that
a
should
hundred
explain
percent.
exactly where you're at on a football field. Do you know Bree Gaffney? She seems
Yeah,
to be very
I
proud of
do.
you.
Thanks, Bree. Thanks, Bree.
Just wanted to throw that out there. So
Yeah,
during high school,
appreciate you.
you played quarterback, punter, defensive back, return punts. I'm sure I'm missing something in there. Is there anything on a football field you don't feel comfortable playing? I mean, other than maybe defensive line, like you mentioned before?
Yeah, just keep me off the line, and I'm good. Uh, it's actually pretty funny because I was an all-state punter in high school as well. Um, and I actually have two of the longest punts in college football for a non-punter, 69 yards, and I think the other one was 71. And they both came in Toledo, at a game against Toledo, my redshirt junior year at Arkansas State. But yeah, man, that just comes from being a coach's son and playing every sport in the book, man. And I grew up playing soccer, grew up playing baseball, and then I began playing football. But it was the other sports that what I'm saying, that kind of transitioned into football. And being the fact that I ran track as well, I'm like an Energizer bunny. That kind of goes along with soccer, man. I can run all day, and I don't really necessarily get tired, and I can kick. What I'm saying, and catching punts, catching kicks. That kind of streams from me playing, what I'm saying, shortstop and center field in baseball, because I have to track the ball up in the air. What I'm saying? And man, really, I played almost every sport there is. I played basketball as well. I'm a pure shooter. I call myself the third splash bro. That's it. I'm just a straight shooter. I don't know how, I guess you could say my releases and, top of my routes kind of, what I'm saying, go with basketball and how I move and how, my knees and my ankles and stuff work. But man, just being an all-around player, just it is my game. And kind of like what you said at the beginning, being a Swiss Army knife, man. That's funny because that's kind of the first time I've heard that in a long time. And man, just I took pride in being a Swiss Army knife, man, because it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I can play corner, I can play safety, because you put me at safety, I'm more than likely 80% of the time. am going to know what play is coming. You know what I'm saying? I may know not exactly what play, but I know it's going to be some type of pass, some type of, RPO or some type of play action, or it might just be a straight up run. And man, being a safety, you can decide, or not even decide, but you can see everything like being a quarterback. And and being a quarterback, being a quarterback my entire life, man, it helped me be a receiver. And only because of the fact that, man, I can look at a corner, I can look at a safety, and I can know whether he's in zone, whether he's in man, whether he's bluffing, whether he's showing man, whether he's showing zone, and you know what I'm saying. And it's just one of those things where it's just like, I don't believe if I wasn't a Swiss Army knife, I wouldn't be the caliber or as successful of a player as I have been or was.
That would make sense. I mean, you have the mind of a quarterback, so you're seeing everything from a quarterback's perspective. You're going to know what the quarterback's going to want to do as a receiver, as a defensive back. It makes a lot of sense.
100%, and especially being a receiver, it's our job to be in the right place at the right time. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that, what I'm saying, back in the day, it was the quarterback's job to throw, what I'm saying, to put us in the right spot, this, that, and the third. Now it's completely different nowadays, and now it's our job to be in the right spot and make the quarterback look good. And being a quarterback my whole life, I understood that 110% when I switched to receiver when I got to college. So, and then it just became easy, man. And the only thing I would say just was a little troubling was learning how to be a receiver. And that took some years, but we got it down. We got everything down. So it's been fun.
Well, apparently Lakeem Christmas thinks you're a route god. So you obviously have the position down.
Yeah, man. It took a while. A lot of training, a lot of hard work, man, and just a lot of work, man. And honestly, man, I give shout out my guy D-Rob. Always open, man. And if it wasn't for D-Rob and Top Shelf, my guys up in Atlanta, Steph Brown and TJ, man. If it wasn't for y'all three, I probably would not. No, there's no problem. I would not be the receiver I am today, man. They taught me everything it is to know about being a receiver and everything it is to teach. And that's why I am a trainer now. In the off season when I'm not playing is because, man, I just honestly I love teaching the game. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's quarterback, running back, receiver, DB, man, I just love teaching the next man up under me just teaching him the ins and outs of what it is to be an actual football player, man. And it has nothing to do with scoring touchdowns and making a guy miss. Man, if you can really sit here and learn your position and learn the other 10 positions, man, you're gonna be a tremendous player because just sit here. If I'm a quarterback and I know what everybody's doing on the offensive line, all the running backs, all the receivers, why is one person going to get one thing wrong? You know what I'm saying? Why aren't you going to be at the right place at the right time? Or why aren't you doing your 111 if I know exactly what everybody's supposed to be doing?
Absolutely.
So it's just one of those things where it's just like, man, yeah, man. It's just this game is just a tremendous game, man, and it just teaches you a lot, especially about life.
Absolutely. Your mom wanted to pop in and say she's proud of you and to keep grinding, which
appreciate it, Ma. Appreciate
awesome.
it, Ma.
I just want to thank you guys who are all tuning in. Thanks for watching. Cam
I do appreciate that.
Cam was awesome. When I literally just hit him up on, I believe it was Twitter, and he literally just agreed to come in and talk about his story just from me simply asking. It just goes to show the kind of man he is and just generally a nice guy, I
appreciate
I'm
that.
glad to have you here, man.
That, brother.
I
appreciate
hope,
that, man.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to piggyback off you said and appreciate everybody who's tuned in, man. I kind of dropped this link at the last second, but, I do appreciate everybody tuning in, and I do appreciate you, brother, for, hitting me up and taking the time out your day to, just do what you do, man. And I'm not going to sit here and lie, man. I'm having fun. I'm having fun talking to you, saying, getting this story out. And, man, it's just, it's a lot of things where what's crazy is we have a lot to talk about, bro, and people have no idea.
Oh, dude, I haven't even scratched the surface yet. I was
know.
just about to start talking about that brings me to my next question, actually. Despite everything you did on a football field, I was shocked to see that you only were named a 3-star recruit. But despite this, you got recruited by so many schools. I'm not even going to try and list them all here right now. But you originally verbally committed to Texas A&M. Did this have anything to do with your father's past working with the school?
I plead the fifth. How about that? No, I'm just playing. But nah, but it did, but then again, it didn't. So okay, let's just break this story down. All right. So being a quarterback, and honestly, I think I can sit here and say I was in the era too soon of the 6 feet and under quarterbacks. Because man, I'm literally, my profile says 6 feet, driver's license says 6 feet. I'm 5'11" and 3/4. You better give me my 3/4 because it's important, man. But if Kyler Murray or Russell Wilson was the first quarterback under the 6 feet era, and what's crazy is my dad recruited Cam Newton to go to Auburn when he went to South Carolina, or North Carolina. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, when he went to Wisconsin. My apologies. And so that, like, seeing Russell Wilson and meeting him for the little 10 minutes that I did, it gave me an edge. Like, you know what? I may not be 6'2", I may not be 6'3", but if he can get it done and he's doing at this caliber of the Big Ten, I think I can get this done here. And so, man, just the fact that Johnny Manziel was, and then here's the thing, I didn't even know who I knew who Johnny Manziel was, but I did not know that Johnny was who Johnny was when I committed to A&M, right? And so I committed to A&M off the strength of the fact that I went down there and fell in love with the campus. I fell in love with the atmosphere. I fell in love with the fact that I walked into Kyle Field and it felt like I walked into Bama Stadium. It's that same type of feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like, and at that time they won an SEC school, but I want to say A&M at the time A&M was in the Big 12, and they might have just went to the SEC if I'm not mistaken. I believe they did, but their stadium was humongous. And I don't know if you know, but every year Texas and A&M go back and forth by putting one extra seat so A&M or Texas can be one up on each other, right? So, just the fact that I knew that and I was walking into that stadium, I was like, this is where I want to be. This is why I want to go to school. And just the fact, also I ran track, and the fact that they had a tremendous track program with a tremendous track coach. I can't think of his name. I think it was Dennis Franchon or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Don't heart me on that. I might be wrong, so excuse me, coach. But man, I fell in love with the track program. And the fact that their head track coach was the head track coach of the USA, Olympic team. And my dream was to, to play college football and be on the Olympics, run for the Olympics. That was my ideal dream. And I couldn't ask for it to get any better. I couldn't, ask for anything else besides what I was getting myself into. So I took the leap of faith, and I remember leaving that visit. Which is funny, I left A&M. I was with my stepdad, left A&M. He dropped me off, I want to say halfway between College Station and Dallas. My real dad picked me up, and we were right to TCU for a visit. And man, it was two completely different schools, two completely different atmospheres, two completely different stadiums. But at the time, little did I know, I fell in love with Fort Worth. I fell in love with TCU as well. But I was so overpowered by the fact of A&M was this major school, this major, this major Power 5 school and College Station, that I overlooked everything that TCU had to offer. And, it didn't come, that love for, the purple and black didn't come back till my whole senior season, until track season, man. And, and just the fact that, so I'll touch back on the fact that, I played quarterback my whole senior year. And the fact that Johnny Manziel was the Heisman candidate, the Heisman winner. And what's funny is, yes, I'm a biracial kid. I'm mixed. I'm black and white. Everybody called me the Black Johnny in high school because if you go watch my film and you go watch Johnny's film, It is ideal.
Yep.
Like, literally ideal. It looked the same. So I was like, all right, I'll go with the nickname. That's cool. And so it just, being a three-star athlete was because nobody knew what sport I was going to play. You know what I'm saying? And nobody knew whether I was going to be a receiver, be a DB, be a quarterback. So I just had to be an athlete and just had to take the leap of faith that whatever school picked or that I picked, that, they allowed me to play the position I wanted to play. And, man, and I was going to A&M to play quarterback. Little do, like, most people don't know that at all either. I was going there to play quarterback. And that would have been an ideal, perfect system for me, being in the Cliff Kingsbury system, and being behind Johnny for another year, man. it'd have been tremendous. But you know, there was a lot of speculation, a lot of things going on, and you know, I decided to decommit after the season, and you know, I took a little bit of time, and at that time, I made a decision that you know I was going to come back home in Texas and play regardless, whether it was Texas, Texas Tech, A&M, or TCU. I was going to be you know in the state of Texas playing regardless.
Makes
Um,
sense.
and so you know, when I decommitted from A&M, my decision was TCU, Texas, or Tech. And you know, at that time, my dad was looking for a new job as well after you know everything happened at Auburn, and it just so happened that when I decided to take my true official visit to TCU, that he was going to come with me, and little did I know he was going to be interviewing for a job at the same time. And so, you know, the Friday night came and he kind of just told me, you know, like, hey, you know, and I have a possibility to, you know, to be interviewing for the next running back job or the next, you know, receiver coaching position here. And I was like, okay, cool. Why don't we just make this a 2-for-1 deal? You know, I'll commit, you get the job. And we just, you know, do this like we always said, you know, because we always had a little thing, you know, I'm gonna play wherever you at. And if he would have been at Auburn, I more than likely would have went to Auburn and played. But the fact that he wasn't at Auburn, you know, I took that chance and I was like, no, I'm gonna go back home and I'm gonna play in front of my family who hasn't got to see me play in quite some time. And man, just the fact that Coach Patterson was just a great coach. You know, what I'm saying I'm gonna speak on Gary P because Gary P is a completely different person than Coach Patterson. Gary P is a phenomenal guy. You know what I'm saying? It's Coach P is too, but Coach P is a completely different person. Now that you know, remember I said that. You know, the fact that Gary P allowed, you know, even listened to the idea of a 2-for-1 deal. Um, that's what allowed me and made it easier for me to come to TCU. You know, I was coming to a school where I may have not known everybody, but I had somebody on the staff who I could go to his office every day, or I could, God forbid, I could go back to the house if I needed something. You know what I'm saying? But just having somebody on the staff that not only was my father figure, but somebody who I knew fairly well, who I felt comfortable with, and I could be myself on, you know what I'm saying, on a daily basis. And you know, so if I ever needed anything, I didn't have to go to a coach who I wasn't 100% comfortable with. You know, I could go to my father figure. So, man, that whole ordeal was just, it was great. It was great while it lasted.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of wondering if those were rumors or if it was truth that you were actually doing the 2-for-1 deal, but I guess you answered my question right there.
Yeah,
I heard that
it was a
actually
100%
factored
true
into.
story.
That's awesome. I heard that factored into a bunch of schools pursuing you because they wanted your father as well, because you guys, I mean, star athlete, great coach and recruiter. I mean,
Yeah.
why not? You know?
Yeah,
Um,
man, and another thing is, you know, I want to say when I finally did transfer from TCU, you know, me and my dad, we finally went back and looked. So I came in to the 2013 class, 2014, 2015, and 2016. I honestly, I want to say me and my dad had a hand in more than 70% of those guys who committed and signed, being I was their host. Like I can sit here, I can go back and name almost every kid that I hosted that committed and played at TCU after I was there, and it's man half the team, had like more than half the team, man, and you know that just lets you know how committed I was to not only the school I was at, but to the guys that I was playing with and the guys and to the coach I was playing under. Man, and not only did I want, you know what I'm saying, myself to play, but I wanted hell of a lot of guys with the same type of caliber, the same type of athletic ability, the same type of mentality to come play with me at this school. And why not? You know, so we already got Texas here, A&M here. Why don't we just make TCU? Everybody thought it was a small town school or a small school. Why don't we just build it up and build it what
absolutely.
it is today? And man, you know, and just the fact that you know I was at TCU with Josh Dotson, Deontay Gray, Trayvon Borkin, BJ Catalon, Aaron Green, Chris Hackett, you know what I'm saying, Sam Carter, Kobe Listenby. I can go on for days, man. It just, you know, so even the guys we got afterwards, Cavante Turpin, Jeff Gladney,
Mhm.
Jalen Rager, like Traven Howard, Joseph Noboon, Ty Summers. These are guys who are literally, you can walk into the indoor at TCU and they are on the wall. You know what I'm saying? And I may not have had a hand in every single one of these guys, but I promise you, my dad was on a phone call with either one of their parents or talked to them at some point. And me and Joseph came in on the same class. Traven came in the class after me. Jeff was a class after, 2 classes after me. Man, that just shows you, man. Like I could have been a senior at TCU and I would have still been hosting guys because I had just so much fun. You know what I'm saying? Meeting the next upcoming frogs or the next guys I was about to be playing with, and just experiencing that entire experience of being a host and being a son of a college coach who was at the same school as I was, man, and just the fact that I got to help put a team together, and so I didn't even look at it like that, but I got to help to put the roster together,
That's
and
awesome.
that was just kind of just like, all right, we're only gonna get the best of the best, so why not use the best of players on the team to go get the best? And so, and it was a tremendous experience, man. And I can't thank them enough for, allowing me to experience that.
Absolutely. Which, man, you are just transitioning right into my next question. So you were there at TCU for only 2 seasons. What ultimately led to you deciding to transfer? And you ended up at Arkansas State, correct?
Yes. So most, I'm pretty sure 85% of people who are very close to me know the true story. And I'm not gonna drop the true story on here, but we can talk about that off the air. You know what I'm saying? But man, I had to do a lot of self-reflecting and a lot of self-growth. And a lot of people don't know this about me, but I had a very traumatic experience my senior year. I had a family member who relapsed on drugs who was very, very close to me. And when I say very close, I mean like we talked on a daily basis. They was at every one of my games from my sophomore year on, and so it was like a not only was a slap in the face, but it was I didn't know how to cope with a disappointment from somebody who I talked to on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, that kind of not taught, but it brought some lessons and some challenges to my life that I was not aware of or even ready for at that time. And no, this is a time period before a lot of people cared or really thought about or wanted to do anything about mental health. And you know what I'm saying? And that was a period of time where having somebody very close to me relapse, I was angry every day, bro. Like I was angry every day because I was just confused on like why. You know what I'm saying? Why would you do this now? Why would you do this like in my senior year when I'm about to go to college? You know what I'm saying? And not saying that I needed, what I'm saying, everybody who was in my life at that time, but what I'm saying, one person who I said I needed were, what I'm saying, was that person. And man, and just the fact that everything that they did at that time, what I'm saying, and I'm not saying that they did anything to hurt me because that's not how it was, but of course it hurt me. And so, man, I wasn't used to that type of pain or that type of letdown or that type of disappointment. So I started to, be on a roller coaster every day. One day I was happy, one day I was mad, one day I was depressed, one day I was, what I'm saying, halfway sad, halfway depressed. And, I got into a point where I was just like, I don't want to play football. I don't want to go to practice. I don't want to go to class. I don't want to come out of my room. I'm going to leave campus at 3 a.m. and drive back home to my mom because I'm just so in my head because of one incident that I'm allowing everyday life, everyday small situations to affect how I am. You know what I'm saying? And it got to a point to where I was allowing more outside factors to decipher who I was on an everyday basis. So it became one of those, man, where it's like a situation occurred at a practice and I just had to excuse my situation or excuse myself from the situation. And I just had to, restart and revamp my life and revamp my football career. And, without, what I'm saying, disclosing too many details, I received my transcript the next day. And, I was on the first ticket out, you know, uh, sadly to say, I do, I can sit here and I can honestly say, me being the older self, I regret every situation, so I regret everything I said, everything I did. 100% I do. Should I have left? Excuse my language, excuse my French. Hell no. Because I was in a perfect situation. You know what I'm saying? I was in a situation where, you know what I'm saying, I don't know if I was going to get drafted, but I was in a better situation where I was there. I was then than where I went to. I was in a better situation to get drafted at TCU than I was 2.5, 3 years later when I went to WKU because of the situations I put myself in. You know what I'm saying? And then I had the background I did with track, so you know what I'm saying, that would have helped. And you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, man, like the saying is, before you're born, God already written your life. God has already written your story. And who's to say that he had me leaving TCU? You know what I'm saying? That could have been in the story, or that could have all been all on me. But at the same time, I learned more lessons from that than I learned throughout my entire life. Because, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I was a young hothead. Yes, a young hothead who didn't even understand what being a hothead was. You know what I'm saying? I developed so I was diagnosed with depression. I was diagnosed with a lot of different things that goes along with mental health. But at the same time, if I wouldn't have transferred, I probably wouldn't have known that I was struggling with mental health. You know what I'm saying? I probably wouldn't have known that I was struggling with not being coachable, but being being tough love, to being coached hard. You know what I'm saying? And I know the difference between being coached hard or being, belittled, or being, put down, or, anything like that. So, it taught me that not only do you, turn the other cheek, but, bro, get out what you're putting in. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, somebody might be, MF you every day. Somebody might be belittling you at this place, that place, but the grass isn't always greener. You know what I'm saying? This is one thing I always tell kids that I train, or I tell my little brother, so I tell everybody who wants to transfer, bro. Yes, a lot of guys who've had success at one school and gone to another had tremendous success, but there's also a lot of guys who haven't, and I'm not going to sit here and say I didn't have success. I had small success in what I did, but at the same time, I let a lot of situations that I caused upon myself, or I could have controlled with my situation, to dictate my success and dictate, what truly happened or what truly went down. And so, and just man, like, I had a great time in Arkansas State. I did. But, I also, no knock to, to any of the coaches there, no knock to the team, and, I love Blake Anderson to death, especially, And, I'm going to pause this for a second because I want to give a shout out to Coach Blake and give a shout out to his family. And, I'm praying for y'all. I know y'all just had a loss, a loss again. And, I'm praying for the entire family. And it makes me emotional because I played under this guy, man. And, and I saw his kids. I saw his, I met Mama Wendy. I met, each son, each daughter. And, man, it just, it's heartbreaking to know that somebody that I met and was around, and isn't here no more. And so, Coach Blake Anderson, I hope you see this. I hope somebody showed you this. Coach, I love you. I appreciate you. I'm praying for you. I'm praying for the family. Anything I can do, I would love to do, or anything I can do to help, I would love to do that. And man, if I could have went to Arkansas State with a different mindset and a different heart, I can say it probably would have been a completely different situation. I'm not going to disclose too much information about why I left, but just know that I left because it was time for me to get a fresh start, and it's time for me to truly develop into who I was and not who I wanted to be, or who I wanted everybody else to see, if that makes sense.
Oh, it makes perfect sense, man. I think everybody can relate to that. Everybody's been through a transition in their life where they had to kind of get a better view on themselves in a different situation and see if it was the situation or themselves that were the issue. And it sounds like you've looked back and you've realized that, you might have been part of the problem at the time, which is, most people can't even do that. They're not physically capable of looking back at themselves and admitting they're an issue. So that in itself, I mean, you're a coach's dream, man. Literally, you can play every position. You've got a high football IQ. You're down to earth. Where you've been and where you're going and where you want to be. And I mean, dude, yeah, you are exactly the type of player that a coach dreams of having on their roster, and it just
Man,
makes
I
no sense
truly hope
not
so.
there.
I hope so, man. And that just honestly, that just stems from, I sit here and say this, man. My mama didn't raise no fool. My mama didn't raise no, you know what I'm saying? My mama didn't raise no knucklehead. Like, yeah, we can all be knuckleheads at times. Yeah, we can all do things that's not what our parents taught us. But at the same time, man, I was raised to respect the next man, whether he did me wrong or right. You know what I'm saying? I was raised to respect my elders, whether they, you know what I'm saying, led me in the right direction or wrong. You know what I'm saying? And it's one of those things where it's like, yes, I sat here and I blamed this coach, this this school, this player, this, that, and the third, for this how it happened to me, or this how it happened to me. But did nobody do anything but me? Did nobody stop my shine? Did nobody stop my grind? Did nobody stop me from succeeding but me? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? People may put their little finger, their little toe, their little, you know what I'm saying, 2 cents in, but and I'm pretty sure you might harp on this, but did nobody get arrested and put in that jail cell but me? You know what I'm saying? Like, did nobody get in trouble but me? You know what I'm saying? And there was nobody sitting in the car with me when I got in trouble. So nobody did the harmful things to me but me. So, that's just one of the things I had to really truly learn, man. And you know what I'm saying? And it took me a long time, a lot of self-reflecting, and you know what I'm saying? And are you gonna harp on this too? You're gonna ask me, but um we'll piggyback on it here in a minute. But yeah, I broke my back and sitting in bed for months, not able to walk, not able to use the bathroom on my own, tie my own shoe, put my own clothes on, barely able to feed myself. Man, it really showed me not only was I the issue, not only was I the main of the cause of not every problem, but I didn't help none of my situations. You know what I'm saying? I didn't sit here and say, you know what, I was wrong, or let me sit back and scale back and okay, let me take a day to I'm gonna take a day to sit back and think about what I said. Let me get my thoughts together and I'm gonna come back. Man, it was just I didn't take the time to think about anybody else's feelings and what anybody else has thought about, cared about. So it's just you know what I'm saying, having traumatic experiences sit you down and humble you, truly humble you. Like I've been humbled. You get humbled by spankings, or you get humbled by somebody beating you, or you get humbled by this. But life will truly humble you. You know what I'm saying? And in ways that you'll never want to be humbled, or you know what I'm saying. You'll never want to experience certain situations or experience certain feelings because you're being humbled. You know what I'm saying? And I can honestly sit here and say, excuse my French again, but my ass was humbled. You know what I'm saying? I was humbled by by the biggest humblers that there are, man. And that's the football guys and the guys that watch over us on a daily basis. And you know what I'm saying? And just having to really understand that, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, I was the root, the you know what I'm saying, the root of everything that sprouted out. You know what I'm saying? And to come to terms with that, man, it was hard. But at the same time, I had no choice but to understand it and take it. So, I just had to, so I just had to grow and learn from it.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to say that I believe we're all the root of our own issues. I mean, at the end of the day, you put yourself in the position to be where you're at. So, good or
100%.
bad. So, I mean,
100%.
you're putting yourself in a better position now than you ever did before. And I mean, I'm working towards that myself. So, I mean, every
Most
person can
definitely.
definitely relate to that, man. I mean, all of us have made mistakes. Nobody's perfect. I mean, we're all trying to be, but I don't think
Yeah,
anybody will ever attain that. Um,
100%.
so moving on, man, this has been some eye-opening stuff, man. You were not joking. You're saying your story is amazing. Do you feel like you faced more pressure because of your father background as a former player and coach, or do you think it was basically the same to most players?
Yeah, I definitely had a lot more pressure than most. Because everybody looked at me to be good. Like for instance, Michael Jordan's kids. We look at Michael Jordan to have some kids just like him, right? Did not happen. That was the same thing in my household. Everybody looked at the Loopers, Cam, Chance, Charity, Cheyenne as what's the next one gonna do? Okay, Cam did this. What's Chance gonna do? Okay, Chance is at Missouri. What Cheyenne gonna do? Or what's Charity gonna do? Okay, Charity's at UCLA. What's Cheyenne gonna do? And so it's like we naturally put this pressure on ourselves as siblings because of what I did and what my little brother's doing, what my sister's doing, and what my baby sister's supposed to do. But it's like, for instance, we tell our baby sisters this all the time. You do not have to play sports. You don't have to pick up another volleyball. You don't have to do nothing. You could be the first women president, and we're going to love you the same. You know what I'm saying? Just because you have 3 siblings who are D1 college athletes does not mean you have to do it. You know what I'm saying? And just the fact that being a high school man, every day I had to, and this goes along with the love-hate relationship I have of being a coach's son. Man, I loved it, don't get me wrong, but I also hated it to my guts. I hated waking up every day having to worry about if I said this right, if I posted this right on Twitter, if I did posted this right on Facebook. I hated having to go, you know what I'm saying, in public and look a certain way or have to have, you know what I'm saying, I couldn't go in public and, you know what I'm saying, and not necessarily say I look like a bum, but I had to be presentable everywhere I go. You know what I'm saying? I had to have a clean cut. I had to have a clean face. You know what I'm saying? This, that, and the third. I couldn't go around with, you know what I'm saying, not looking like I was a coach's son because, yes, I was going to get talked about and it was going to get back to my dad and it was going to get back to the household and it was going to get back to me. You know what I'm saying? And, yeah, there was a lot more pressure outside of football that a lot of people didn't realize. The pressure in football was, I'm like Kobe in the fourth. I'm clutch. Like, that's one thing I pride myself on when it came to football was you couldn't bother me on the field. Like, that was my safe haven. Me being on the field is where I go to cry, where I go to let out, where I go to let out my anger, where I go to this, that, and the third. So whatever I was dealing with on the outside of life, when I got on the field, it's either you might as well join me and let's go, you know what I'm saying, let's go get this dub, or I advise you to get out of my way because you about to be on a highlight. I'm sorry. You about to be on the news, like you about to be on ESPN or something if you in my way. Like if we aren't sitting here doing something together as a team, you're going to be on the highlight. And so, and that's where, you know what I'm saying, the pressure of being a coach's son played in the part was I had so much pressure of being, for instance, my sophomore year at Auburn High. There was 2 Camerons starting in Auburn, Alabama. Cameron Jarrell Newton at Auburn University and Cameron DeMonte Echols-Luper at Auburn High. Before our first game, there was a newspaper article that came out that said the Cams at Auburn. How do you expect a 16, 17-year-old kid to live up to the height of somebody who's about to win a national championship and a Heisman?
Yeah, that's tough.
You know what I'm saying? How do you expect me to hold the hype of doing, you know what I'm saying, throwing for 200, rushing for another 100 with 3 or 4 touchdowns every Friday night to go to his games on Saturday to see him do that times 3? You know what I'm saying? So it was like, all right, Cam, what you going to do next Friday? All right, Cam. Cam did this. All right, Big Cam, what you going to do on Saturday? Like, this is literally the talks we had Sunday at dinners, you know what I'm saying, at training table after the game. You know what I'm saying? Me and Cam would literally sit, you know what I'm saying, at the table, and you know what I'm saying, we would go, you know what I'm saying, we'd talk about certain coverages, talk about this, that, and the third, but it was always, all right, what you going to do now? You did this, what you going to do? I did this, okay, what you going to do? And so it wasn't I was getting putting pressure on by my dad or anything. Pressure was getting put on by the Auburn University players. And it was good pressure because it was like, all right, we're at the hotel, we're listening to on the radio, we're watching on the game or on the TV, or, you know, Coach Luper's taking us from the hotel to go watch you play. So it's like I had no choice but to put on. I had no choice but to play my hardest. I had no choice but to leave everything on the field. So, you know what I'm saying? It was easy because, you know what I'm saying, and just being me and being my caliber player, it was easy to play at my best on the field. It was harder to be me and to keep, you know what I'm saying, not even keep myself at peace, but to stay sane or even be a typical kid about being a coach's kid in high school. You know what I'm saying? Because I couldn't go to the mall, or go to the movies, or go to clubs, or go to parties with my friends in high school. I couldn't. Like there was no like I might have went to a couple of them, but I didn't have the normal teenage lifestyle or teenage life as most teenagers have. That was not going as being a coach's kid. So
Yeah.
like that was the part, you know what I'm saying? And especially being a recruit, man, like I just wanted to be a normal recruit. I wanted to be a normal kid who went to normal colleges on normal visits, didn't get no special treatment. I didn't want nobody to say, "Oh, this is Echols-Luper's son. Do this for him. Do that." I didn't like. Yes, don't get me wrong. The perks were amazing. The perks are great. You know what I'm saying? It's a you know what I'm saying. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say it wasn't a great time to name drop my dad's name because it'll help or it'll work. Like, but at the same time, man, I wanted to build my own name for myself. I wanted to have my own household name. And so when I finally did that, man, it you know what I'm saying, it felt good to have my own name. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't looked at or said, oh, that's Curtis's son, or that's Coach Loop's son, that's Lil Loop. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times a lot of people know me as Lil Loop. And but the thing is, my name is Cam. My mama, when I was born, my mama put on the birth certificate, Cameron. And so for me to, you know what I'm saying, finally have my own name for people to know me as Cam, you know what I'm saying, that felt good because I could actually do something for myself and not be looked at as, okay, if he does this, we're going to have to call his dad. Or if he does this wrong, we have to let his dad know. Like, for what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to be a normal kid who lived a normal life. And, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't really get to do that, which, you know what I'm saying? That's not a bad thing, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I just grew a love-hate relationship with being a coach's kid. And, you know, man, and, you know what I'm saying? It's going to suck because, yes, one day I'm going to coach and one day I'm going to have a kid. And I just hope that he has a completely different experience than this. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? I learned how to, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully, I learned how to, you know what I'm saying, minimize his pressure, minimize his, you know what I'm saying, everything that goes on as being a coach's kid.
100%. Well, you answered one of my later questions because I was going to ask if you would ever go into coaching. I mean, it would
Oh,
just make sense
100%.
for you. So following a 5-season college career, you managed to rack up 11 starts in 47 games, totaling a little over 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns offensively,
Uh,
1,124 return yards, another touchdown in the return game, 8 tackles. You had 4 punt returns, or no, sorry, 4 punts. Sorry, punts for a 34.8-yard average. So literally, like I said, you did everything there was to do on the field. Despite everything you were able to do in college, you were not invited to the combine. And I mean, this just goes to show you how NFL looks at players that can play multiple positions. It's almost like the coaches at that level are scared to try and fit a player into a position and find a role for them rather than, them be in a defined role. Do you think this hurt your combine and draft eligibility?
100% no.
No?
I don't. Only reason why I say that is look at Debo Samuels.
That's true.
But then again, I was an era before Debo. You
Exactly.
understand? But then again, um, man, you know what I'm saying? You sat there and you shouted out those stats, and I almost said, man, don't even say that because that's horrible. You know what I'm saying? And I remember my senior year, I was just doing everything I can just to crack 1,000 yards for a career. And man, that's a horrible, you know what I'm saying? A horrible. I don't know why that was my goal my senior year, but that's the only thing I cared about, man. But me being so versatile, it if anything, that should have helped me. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? That should have not hindered, not stopped, but helped me more than stopped me. But man, no, I what hurt me the most, what kept me away from the draft, what kept me away from all star games, and it was kind of like, you know what I'm saying, and kind of kept me away from playing as much as I had been in the past couple of years is one, I was arrested while I was at Arkansas State. Um, uh, Off the strength, I was arrested for speeding warrants. Yes, I was a broke college student who forgot to pay for some speeding warrants. I was speeding, of course. So no, I wasn't. I know I was not arrested off the strength of what my report says, because yes, after I was arrested off the strength of speeding ticket, I was charged with an outrageous obstructions charge of possession of controlled substance 2 and 3. And now y'all can go look that up and we'll see what that means. And I was also charged with intent, a couple intents. But then again, nobody knows. When I was booked into jail, my charges were dropped. Like, I didn't even walk into this. I was in holding. Wasn't even into the jail, so my name wasn't even into the booking yet. And my charges were dropped. The arresting officer dropped my charges because when she checked my car, she found absolutely nothing. Nothing. Like, and if I sat here and told you what each police report, there was 3 police reports. And this is why I sit here and say, man, I got a story to tell because nobody know this. And the people close to me know this. There were 3 police reports: the truth, the fabricated truth, and a whole out lie. Them 3. There was only two police reports given to Coach Anderson. The third one wasn't given. The truth was not given. There was only one time that the truth was given, and that was at court. And this is why my charges were dropped, because they didn't find anything. There was nothing to charge me with because I had nothing. Yes, okay. I was wrong for speeding to class, but I'm not saying it was right. I was going to class. I was late. Yes, okay, I'm sorry. I was trying to get to class. I was late. I was wrong for speeding. Yes, I should have left earlier. I should have showered earlier, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. I'll take that. You know what I'm saying? I'll take that fall.
Mm-hmm.
But to be ripped out of a car by 8 police officers, to be told I was being charged and tried like I was a kingpin, and to be told that I had a pound of cocaine, to be told that I had a ounce and a half of marijuana, to be told that I had scales, baggies, everything else to go with to sell drugs, to say I had that in a Dodge Challenger 2-door is outrageous. Yes, my car smelled like weed. Yes. I'm sorry. Yes, it did. It smelled like marijuana. Yes, I just got home from spring break. Everybody knows what kids do on spring break when they go to spring break. We party. Okay, I'm sorry that we couldn't do it in the hotel, so we did my car. Apologize. I'm grown. I feel like, you know what I'm saying, that I could sit here and say this because who hasn't had a story or something like this happen, right? And maybe the next kid who's coming up watching this can learn from my experience. Okay, don't smoke in your car, and if you are going to smoke, go to a place where you can, that you're not bothered by nobody. And if you do smoke with people, make sure it's people that you're trustworthy with. And I'm gonna tell you this: can't nobody tell on yourself. Other people can tell on you. You can't tell on yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, my car smelled like marijuana, man. And, you know what I'm saying? That was every right for her to check my car. You know what I'm saying? I get the law, you know what I'm saying? Because I was a forensic science major, so I get it. You know what I'm saying? So, checked my car. She didn't find nothing, but, you know what I'm saying? She had to do her job and take me to jail off the strength of my speeding warrants. That's okay. Okay, that's cool. But as I'm getting pulled out the car, 8 other officers came and pulled me and told, you know what I'm saying, threw me on the police car, blah, 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 checked my car. At the time that they were done checking my car, we pulled off. I saw them close my doors, close my trunk, put everything back in my trunk, like my shoes, my cleats, my clothes. They didn't find anything, right? Okay. So I'm on my way to jail, and I hear over like the little walkie talkies, charging with intent to sell, intent to distribute, intent to this, controlled substance, this, that. And I was just like, that is mine? That's for me? And, you know, like, man, and I freaked out. Like I freaked out in the backseat of the police car because I was just like, bro, excuse my language, like what the hell? Like this can't be true. This can't be me. This can't be what's happening to me because there was nothing in my car. Like yes, I told like you can go to the police report and read it. There's one truth in the fabricated. I told a police officer I smoked during spring break in my car, so my car smelled like weed. You know what I'm saying? So to get to court, and here's the thing, I got booked in at like 2:30, right? I got bonded out at like 10 o'clock that night. But I was bonded out 3 hours before I was bonded. They just somehow didn't see the bond money posted. Right. Don't know how, but my bail bondsman was trying to get me out for like 3 hours. And here's another thing. So I was booked to Craighead County in Jonesboro, Alabama. I got extradited. And if y'all don't know what extradited means, so look, I kid you not, okay? I kid you not. The sheriffs from wherever they were, they came in, they got me out of holding, and they said, okay, we need you to put your knees and your chest facing the wall. So, okay, so I'm facing you guys, right? And the officers are behind me. They put shackles on my legs, shackles on my hips, shackles on my arms. And this is the quote that they said. We wouldn't be putting shackles on you if you wasn't the fastest man in college football. Okay, so y'all know who I am. Okay, so y'all know that I go to Arkansas State.
Oh my God.
Okay, so and here's the thing. This is the craziest part about it. I'm in holding for 3 hours. No phone call, no nothing. I go to the new jail. As soon as I walk into jail, they look at me and say, "You're so and so from Arkansas State. We just watched you play. Blah 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 blah. Can you make bail?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can make bail." So they said, "Okay, get on the phone and don't get off the phone until you make bail. We're not going to put you in holding because you don't belong here. You don't need to be here." Because on their report, on their screen, it says speeding warrant violation. FTA, which is failure to appear to court for a speeding warrant. It had nothing to do about drugs, nothing to do about any of that. So they was like, whatever happened, they did you wrong. So this is what we're going to do. Get on the phone. And the thing is, I don't memorize numbers, so I had to get my cell phone. They allowed me to get my cell phone to get 4 numbers out. My papa, my mom, my coach, and then my girlfriend at the time. And so the fact that that happened, that let me know, okay, everything that happened in Jonesboro was not supposed to happen. And this is the crazier part. I get home, I get back to my dorm, bro. They've already had 2 news segments on me, an hour long each. I have at least 130 missed calls, 130 missed texts, and not one, forgive me, Lord, you know what I'm saying, but not one is from a coach from Arkansas State. Wow. I had to call when I got home. I had to call them, and you know, so they already knew, but there was a whole news segment out, so of course they knew, but they didn't know the truth. They knew nothing, but the truth didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So I went to court the next, and here's the thing: I didn't even know I had court the next day at 7 a.m. The arresting officer had to call me. The arresting officer had to call me at 6 a.m., wake me up out my sleep, and tell me, "Cam, I'm coming to pick you up because you have court in an hour."
The arresting officer? What?
Yes. And the thing is, the arresting officer was a lady. And when I say she came and picked me up, she was a campus police officer. So she knew where I stayed. Exactly where I stayed. So came and knocked on my door, woke me up, came and got me and took me to court. And took me back. After court, she took me to go eat, took me to Subway, and took me home.
Wow. I mean, honestly, she's a blessing if that's the case.
And that's the thing. Like, and to this day, I can't thank her enough because not only did she save my life, but she personally told certain coaches I dropped his charges. Why? You know what I'm saying? Not even why, but like his charges are dropped. It was just speeding warrants. So why y'all making it the magnitude of what it is? But you know what I'm saying? I 100% understand and get why, you know what I'm saying? And I don't fault them. I would never fault them for what they did or why they did it the way they did it, because That's their jobs as coaches. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I was the example made. I was the example made out of for everybody, which that's fine. That's cool. I I'll be that. I'll be the lesson that everybody has to learn from. I'll be the lesson that my siblings have to learn from. That is fine, because I had to learn that maybe I was put in a situation I had to go through all that, so my siblings will know, or the ones who are up under me, who I train, will know what not to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, man, that was just one of those situations where it was just like that alone. Honestly, that alone is what kept me from going to the combine, all-star or not all-star games, getting drafted, and all of that. But what I'm saying, the second thing was, I had a major back injury my senior year, and this might be your next question, so I will just go ahead and get on it. But yeah, I had a major back injury. I had an L4 L5 herniation that I played with my entire senior year, and go to the last game, and I just cracked my L5, so I officially broke it. And again, not a lot of teams. I don't think any teams knew on my pro day that I had back surgery. And so I had back surgery December 1st, and my pro day was March 30th. So you put that timeline together.
Yeah.
And so my rehab time was a year and 8 months. But I began walking and running in like 2-3. I started walking like 2-3 weeks. Started running in like a month and a half. And so when you have a herniation as low as I did, and a back surgery, man, the doctor tells you, excuse my French, but I have to, relate this to you guys. You're not allowed to have sex. You're not allowed to use the bathroom on your own. Like, you can't have a bowel movement. You can't pee on your own. Putting socks on, putting shoes on, bending is damn near impossible. And if you know me, you know I'm a tippy-toe walker. I walk on my toes. I had to reteach myself how to walk, bro. And that was the toughest, most hardest thing in the world, was
Oh,
to reteach myself how to walk. But man, yeah, so just the fact that I had 3 months and 30 days to learn how to walk and run again, and learn how to cut and catch a ball again. Because, bro, the first day of therapy, it was like I felt like a baby, a Bambi baby. Because my mind was telling my legs and my arms to do something, but was nothing working.
I
You
could
know what I'm
definitely. Wow.
saying? And yeah, so like I would go to the bathroom and I would just have to stand there, or I would just have to sit there, because like as men, we're like, we can push, or so we use our abs to push to go to the bathroom. I had no abs, I had no hips, I had no muscles, so I literally had to stand there and just wait. You know what I'm saying? And that was very traumatizing and mentally exhausting.
Yeah.
And so yeah, man, and like that alone, that's another reason why I haven't had to assess professionally or played, saying, as much as I was supposed to or have played, because my background and me being injured. Those are the two main reasons, basically, why I wasn't drafted, or why I wasn't at the combine, or why a lot of people really haven't heard from Cam or what he's been doing the past couple of years.
Makes sense. I mean, that's an injury for a guy like you who's playing wide receiver and running back, that it's got to be damn near impossible to get around without rehabbing properly. I mean, you can't turn your body to try and catch a pass. You can't try and make a move to make a defender miss. Nothing. I mean, literally
Man,
nothing.
just imagine being a 7-time All-American at TCU, still holding the fastest collegiate time for a 200 for a college football player who ran a 200. We're not going to say this out loud, but the Big 12 committee kind of did play me at Big 12s when I broke the school record. We all know I jumped 27 feet, but we're going to keep it right here and not say that. But just imagine, like, I could have literally, with that jump at Big 12s, I could have qualified for the Olympics. My ultimate goal, my dream. And you know what I'm saying? Like, now that's all diminished because I had back surgery. And honest to God, if I never would have had back surgery, I more likely probably would have put my foot back in the track. because that's what, you know what I'm saying? That's what my speed is, who I am. And the fact that, you know what I'm saying, I went into my pro day not 100%. I was maybe 40%. I still ran 4.47. I, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's when I say I ran 4.47, I pulled a rabbit out the hat because I was nowhere near ready or nowhere possibly ready to run. I just pulled it out the hat and blessed with the ability to still go 4.47. You know what I'm saying? And just the fact that, you know what I'm saying, now, like nowadays I'm hearing that I'm slow. It's kind of just like, do you not know what I've had to do, what I've done, how long it's been for me? You know what I'm saying? So for anybody to, for any type of anybody with any organization to try to say that I'm slow, I put your check on it that I'm not. I'm just saying, like, and that's not me tooting my own horn. That's not me making no bets, no promises, no threats, no nothing. If Cam one knows one thing, for instance, Superman is a superhero, right? People call Superman or not. They put his, you know what I'm saying? Superman comes in to save the day. He knows he's gonna save the day because that's what he does. I know that I'm fast. That's what I do. So for me to have break my back and still go 4.4 and to be told that I'm slow now,
Yeah.
that's kind of like the saying, "There's a bear shit in woods."
Yep. Exactly.
Like,
Doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
it doesn't.
So even after that injury, you still spent time with the Colts. When exactly did that happen?
So right afterwards, actually. So
Really?
the coach was my only opportunity I had in the NFL, my only shot. So, you know what I'm saying? Thank you to the Indianapolis Colts. You know, so I appreciate you for every, you know what I'm saying, every lesson, every experience that you guys gave me. But yeah, my time with the Colts was very short, very, very short. um, very short. When I say very short, I mean very short. My back went out my first rep of routes on air, RVA. I ran two routes. I ran a little run route, a man slant, um, and then I ran a dig. I jumped up for the dig, and my legs just died from under me. So I basically, it felt like I landed on top of my fibula bones, but it was my feet. But yeah, from that moment on, yeah, I was cut and released, sent back home, right back to rehab for another 3, 4 months, and that's when I went up to Canada. And I was with Hamilton Tiger Cats for a season, and then I was with them for that next mini camp right before training camp, and then I pulled my hamstring, and they released me, and then I kind of spent a couple more months at home rehabbing, and then I was picked up by the BC Lions, and I was with them for a season, and then I was signed back for the next season, and then COVID happened. And so with the whole ordeal with COVID, um, I honestly don't know how this happened, but our GM that I was signed up under, he took a leave of absence, and when he took a leave of absence, they let go everybody up under him and all the players that he signed, and I happen to be one of them. And that kind of just leads us to where we are now.
Pretty much. um, so you were only with BC for a year?
Yeah, like a year and some change.
Okay, that explains a lot. I was trying to find information on your CFL career, and I couldn't find a whole lot of it, to be honest.
Practice squad, my man. I was on practice squad the whole time.
Okay.
So when I was with Hamilton, I was on practice squad, and so I don't remember what game we were playing, but that day I was set to be brought up to be on the active roster, and the Canadian American ratio hit, and I happened to be one of the last Americans signed, so there goes my chances. And then when I went to BC, um, same thing, man. I was supposed to be brought up a few times, but I was still the new guy. A lot of coaches didn't trust that I knew the playbook, which 100% I get it. Um, but I was signed back that next year for the active roster, and man, just the fact that COVID hit, COVID truly diminished my opportunity with BC Lions. Um, because yeah, I was signed to BC and they were, so they signed me back with a lot of, a lot of potential, a lot of high hopes. So me and Brian Burnham and Lamar Durant were supposed to go in and be a 1-2-3 tandem. And we never got to do that, which I'm really sad about because those are probably my two favorite receivers in the CFL, man. And you know what I'm saying, I got along with those two guys really good, man. And just the fact that COVID happened, man, and I'm still sad to this day that I never got to play for BC, man, because I just love my time in Vancouver, and I really wish I would have got just one opportunity, whether it was with Hamilton or BC, just to play in one game, man, because anybody can kill practice, anybody can have practice clips, anybody can have practice film, but who the hell wants to see you in practice? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I can post practice clips all day, but don't nobody care. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't nobody care about me in practice. And so, man, that was my little stint in the CFL, man. And I never got to play an actual game and in the CFL, which I would love to get back in the CFL now. I would love to play in the USFL. Man, I would just love to play. Period. To be honest.
I understand completely. So you actually spent some time in the spring league as well, right?
Yes, I played. I was in the spring league actually right before I went to Hamilton, and then I was in the spring league this past summer.
Okay, that makes sense. So in 2021, you actually caught, it looks like 13 passes for 193 yards, something like that, in like
Something
three
like that.
games.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something
Showing you
like
were
that.
healthy and ready to compete in 2022. On June 3rd last year, Brian Woods began to really start launching the USFL. Since then, the spring leg has kind of more or less declared it's no longer in operation. Do you believe Woods had any intention of keeping both leagues running at any point?
I mean, if you really look at it, the spring league is the USFL now. We're just getting paid. You know what I'm saying? Which is the ideal of the spring league. You know what I'm saying? It's not really much of a developmental league because the guys who are in the USFL have developed. You know what I'm saying? We've at some point have played in the league, whether it's the USFL, or I'm sorry, whether it's the CFL, XFL, Arena, Europe League, NFL. Every guy that's playing the USFL has some type of, some background as being a professional. So it's not even a developmental league anymore. So you know what I'm saying? It's so I really look at it as the spring league is the USFL now. So I really wouldn't, see why he would have to. But then again, I can see the understanding of keeping both leagues open.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I have the timeline incorrect, but I could have sworn that he was originally speaking about keeping it running. But it's just I thought it was a bit much to have on your plate, and I wasn't sure if it was ever
Yeah,
actually going to come fruition. But and now it
100%,
sounds like
more
it's
likely.
officially now no longer in operation. But
Yeah, I saw that the other day. Yeah, I saw the other day. He is not up no more. Which man, and that kind of sucks because that gave a lot of guys opportunities and chances to showcase who they are, man. And what I'm saying, hopefully something else comes about for guys. You know what I'm saying, to get the opportunity to show who they are. And man, it gave me an opportunity to show that I was healthy, show that I could still play, show that I was not slow. So it just hopefully it gives a lot of other guys opportunities to showcase what they can do as well.
absolutely. Let's see where I'm at. I have so many questions for you. It's unreal. So, news broke on, I want to say March, or not March, February 1st or something like that. That the USFL was going to hold a supplemental draft on the 19th. Are you planning on, or sorry, not supplemental draft, the combine? That's what I'm talking about. A combine after the supplemental draft. Are you planning on attending that if your name's not called during the supplemental draft?
100%. Because if my name is not called in the supplemental draft, it's one of those things like, all right, man. Now I got to give y'all a reason to come call my name. That's how I look at it. And I wish they would have had this combine and trial before the supplemental draft, so it gives you all the more reason to call me. You know what I'm saying? But it's not my doing. I can just only sit here and just do my due diligence and just continue to work and just hope to pray to God that, saying on the 10th at 7, 6 p.m. my time, that I do receive a phone call and I'm able to, you know what I'm saying, capitalize on the opportunity and showcase my ability and my skills on somebody's team. But yes,
Absolutely.
I will 100% be in attendance if my name is not called.
Absolutely. I kind of figured that would be the answer coming from you. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with one last question. If there was one thing you could go back and change during your career, what would it be and why? And I kind of feel like I might have an idea where you're going with this.
Um, well, first, if I could go back and tell myself one thing, I would just tell myself to shut the hell up and go to work and keep catching balls, because you running past people and you catching balls is gonna make you paid. And don't care about what nobody has to say. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't, you know what I'm saying? Listen too hard what people got to say. And man, if I could change one thing, it would have been the fact of not being so emotionally ready to leave TCU and so emotionally, you know what I'm saying? I would just change the fact that I was just sitting on my emotions, sitting in my feelings so much. You know what I'm saying? And just being the fact that I was a young kid, I was a young, you know what I'm saying, young adult, um, that I should have spoken to my mom more, man, or, you know what I'm saying, went to a mentor or, you know, found a teammate who I looked up to just to go talk to, man. And, you know what I'm saying? And just not leave so early, or just, you know what I'm saying, maybe took a month or a couple weeks away or off just to, you know what I'm saying, get myself mentally right to make the right decision, man. And you know what I'm saying, ultimately, I can sit here and say I would change that I went to TCU or that I left to go to Arkansas State. But then again, how can I say that if I was supposed to be taught all these lessons to teach everybody else? You know what I'm
100%.
saying? So then again, man, like, yes, I would love to change the fact that I left. But then again, I don't know if I truly would. Yes, I would change a lot of things I did, but I don't know if I would just truly change the fact of how the timeline went.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I mean, like we said before, you know, your actions in your past make you who you are today. So, I mean, it makes
Man,
perfect
the
sense.
the choices, man. This is the number one quote that I've gotten. It's stuck with me, man, and it's from Coach Trooper Taylor, man. The choices you live today affect the way you live tomorrow, or the choices you make today affect the way you live tomorrow. And that's
100%.
100% true, man. And it's just like, you know, I'll say this again, man, and you know what I'm saying, hopefully, you know what I'm saying, the younger kids are listening, man. Again, the choices you make today affect the way you live tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Just because your friends are doing something, bro, just because, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people think this, excuse my language, a lot of things, people think a lot of things are cool. You know what I'm saying? It looks cool for social media, it looks cool for TikTok. Man, clout ain't what it's supposed to be. I mean, clout is not what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Do these things just to get some likes or some, you know what I'm saying, notoriety. Man, that is not what it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? The notoriety is when you come home and your family is like, man, you played a great game. I'm so happy. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm so proud of you because, you know, you've been studying your butt off for these tests and you made an A. You know what I'm saying? I've been seeing you out, you know what I'm saying, working. You know what I'm saying? You're making your own money. Here's some shoes that I know you've been working so hard for. That's the notoriety that you guys should be, you know what I'm saying, looking and reaching for, man. It's not, you know, notoriety on about some 30,000 likes or 30,000 views or, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the third. Because, bro, man, if anybody knows, I've gone viral so many times when it comes to social media or routes or stuff like that, man. And me going viral, breaking somebody off, making somebody fall has not got me picked up yet. So what is the clout of me going viral going to do for me? Absolutely nothing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to tell these young cats, you know what I'm saying? This clout for social media, yeah, these NIL deals are cool. Yeah, y'all are going to school to get paid, but that's what y'all want. You know what I'm saying? Y'all want to have all this clout for social media and not be known as the next Deion Sanders or the next Calvin Johnson or the next DK Metcalf. Y'all want to be known as the next TikTokers who are pretty good at football.
Yeah.
Like, and then honestly, that's not what football is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry, but I would hate to have a brother who is on the sideline doing TikTok dances while I'm playing. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, that's just not what's up. Now, you know what I'm saying? If my little brother was in the stands and I scored a touchdown and we looked at each other and we did a dance together, okay, cool. That's perfectly fine because I'm celebrating with a family member. I'm celebrating with my team, but I'm not finna disrespect this game by having somebody on the sideline doing TikTok dances while I'm over here working my butt off, running away from 20 people. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, like I'm going to do what I worked my butt off to do, and that's, you know what I'm saying, to continue to pay the bills that I'm out here playing for.
100%. Well, Cam, I got to tell you, man, your story is just unbelievable, man. If I hadn't talked to you so long beforehand and, heard the details beforehand off screen, I don't even know if I could believe everything you just said because it's just so crazy. But I really want to thank you for joining me. Like I said, I mean, for you to jump on a relatively small channel like mine just to talk with me and discuss your story like you have is beyond important for me and my growth as a channel and my growth as a person in journalism itself. I mean, it's huge, man. I really, really appreciate it. And I would love to talk to you again in the future, hopefully right after you hear your name called in the supplemental draft.
Man, hopefully, bro. Let's just keep praying and hoping, man, and that my name gets called on the 10th, so we can, so we can run this back a second time, man. And man, I do, like I said, man, I appreciate you, man. I can't thank you enough for taking time out your day. We took an hour and 36 minutes out your day, man, and so you could have been doing so much other things with the boys, man. And I really do appreciate you, bro. And you know what I'm saying. And hopefully we can run this back. If not, you know what I'm saying. And we definitely gonna reconvene at another day. You know what I'm saying, because if I don't get drafted on the 10th, this is not the last time y'all gonna hear from Cam. It's not the last time y'all gonna hear that I'm playing or suited up. So man, just you know what I'm saying, just stay tuned and be ready for what I got coming.
Oh man, I fully intend to stay tuned and keep in touch with you, and I fully expect to hear your name called, whether it's here or another league. You're going to be somewhere. I mean, you belong in professional level football. There's no doubt in my mind. But once again, man, thank you for everything. And like I said, I will definitely keep in touch. You're a great dude. And once again, thank you so much.
Yes, I appreciate you, my man. Yeah, you too, man. Stay in touch, brother. Blessings.
Definitely. All right, guys, that was Cam Echols-Luper. He is just, like I said, one of the best possible guys I could have contacted for an interview. He has been nothing short of extremely gracious to come on here and tell me about his story and share so many details that I had no idea were going to come out. I hope you guys enjoy this interview because, wow, it was more of a story than I even thought it was going to be when I first got into it. He's a hell of a guy, and I really, really hope he succeeds at the next level because he deserves it. He's worked hard. He's been through so much. He like I said, he deserves to succeed simply because of the fact that he is a good person. And like I said before, despite what happened in his past, if you judge him on that shows more about you as a person than it does about him as a person. He's grown. For you to sit here and judge him based on his past, it's not right. So move on. Look at him as an individual now. He's a hell of a man, and I am super happy and super lucky that I am now, affiliated with him, and I can keep in touch with him in the future because he's a hell of a dude. And I look forward to speaking to him in the future. And hopefully, like I said, right after he hears his name called in the supplemental draft. So keep an eye out for him. Follow him on social media. Let's get his name out there as much as we possibly can as a group. He deserves to be in these leagues. Maybe if these teams actually see what he's capable of and take notice of him as an individual and as a human being, they'll actually give him the shot he deserves. He deserves at the very minimum that. Once again, thank you for everybody who jumped on and watched this. Special thank you to Seamus for all your comments, man. I really appreciate it. I haven't seen or talked to you in a while, so it's awesome to see you on here. Everybody else, thanks for popping in. And to Cam's family, once again, thank you guys for being here. Thanks for your comments. It means a lot. So stay tuned. I got many more player interviews to come. In fact, I'm just about to call back a CFL player to get that rolling. So like I said, just stay tuned. I'm trying to make it work in this journalism world, and I think I can with help with guys like Cam.